Hi there. We know that last week on Thursday there was two bombs that were dropped on a refugee camp in Goma, and all evidence points to Rwandan troops that were operating from the region of Mount Nyiragongo. Now, the United States definitely knew the exact actors because they have their own ways, like the satellite that they operate there. They also have ground team that does intel, all those NGOs and humanitarian support. Some of them also serve as CIA. We know that. I mean, it's what they do. So they knew the moment those bombs were dropped on those camps, they could tell from whom they came from. They even know the type of ordnance that were used, from which inventory that it came from, the stockpiling. So, for example, I saw photos of those particular bombs, and you can tell those are not from Congolese army inventory. They are not from the Wazalendo guys. So definitely they knew. That's why they issued the statement they did. Now look at what now the Rwandan government did on Sunday, issuing statements and barking like a tiny dog, as if we do not know. This evil regime sometimes makes me wonder. They always bark at almost everyone. They really see themselves highly. They really consider themselves highly. They consider themselves at the highest regard. A very tiny country, probably the smallest, one of the smallest in the world, carries itself with the highest regard, thinking that it can bark at the mighty United States. So anyway, I'm going to read the letter anyway. So they say in the letter, which is also on their website, or I don't know which one I should read. Now this website is the government website of Rwanda. So this is the same letter. So they say the attempt by the United States of Department of State in its statement on 4th May to immediately and without any investigation place blame on Rwanda for the loss of lives in the IDP camps is unjustified. So you have to note they're saying there was no investigation that was done and it's unjustified. Now, who has to do investigation when we know the actors that are there? There's no need to do investigation. And what does Congolese army gain by bombing refugee people who have come to stay in refugee camps near the city of Goma? What would they gain? And what would Wazalendo gain, because Rwanda is trying to blame Wazalendo? And to those people who do not know who these Wazalendo are, these are young people mostly, and their families are the ones in those camps. They are people, young men and women from the regions of Kibumba, from the territories where the M23 and Rwandan troops are carrying out incursions. And they moved away from their farms. Their mothers and wives and fathers and elderly moved to these camps. But the young men picked the guns. They picked the AK-47 to try to push back the invaders. So what would Wazalendo guys gain by bombing their own mothers in the camps? That there's nothing they would be gaining there. It beats logic. So they go ahead to say that Rwanda will not shoulder responsibility for bombing of those IDP camps. IDP means the internally displaced people, which is the refugees I'm talking about, around Goma, or the security and governance failures of the government of Congo. So Rwanda has the audacity to say that Congo government has failed to guarantee security of its own people. And they're also saying government failures of the government of Congo. So they're saying, so understand this. One country goes to another. Everyone sees that. We can see it. The SADC group also issued a statement, and they're on the ground there. They're not like you guys who are watching this on YouTube. And they also issued a statement. They know. They also pointed a finger at Rwanda. So anyone who is saying this, they are there. They are not getting stories from other people, third parties. They are there on the ground. So everyone knows what Rwanda is doing there. It crosses the border, creates all this disturbance, and then turns around and blames the government, now the victim, of being a failure. Turns around and blames the government of Congo of being a failure to bring security to its people. So you understand how problematic that is. So that is a statement. I don't want to make this video long. I just want to see your opinions in the comment section below. But you understand what we are dealing with here. It's an evil regime in Rwanda, led by the Tutsi minority in Rwanda. As I said in so many previous videos, they are the ones in most important government positions. They are the ones making decisions. These are the Tutsis who keep claiming that they were killed in 1994 in Rwanda. There is very tiny minority in Congo, less than 100,000 of these Tutsis in the North Kivu region and the South Kivu region, in a country of 120 million people. And they are creating some trouble there. And if the other communities start retaliating, they will start crying genocide. Because think about it. If we have a young man in his 18 years, 20, basically in his youth, and he gets the message that while he's in the field with an AK-47 trying to fight off the invaders, the government or the soldiers of the government of the invaders bombed his mother in a refugee camp. And he knows these invaders are the Tutsi people. We know that. I mean, let's just start talking facts. What do you think the next time he comes across a Tutsi person he will do? Let's face fact. We've seen the wars even in Ukraine, how Ukrainians are dealing with the Russian people. Just, you don't have to even to be from the army. Just being a Russian in countries like Latvia, in countries like Lithuania, in countries like Poland, we've seen Russian people being dispossessed of their houses in Lithuania. They have been dispossessed of their visas. They have been dispossessed of their vehicles, and those vehicles have been given to Ukraine as gifts. I've seen stories like that. What I'm trying to say is a Russophobic agenda in the whole of Europe. And because the Russians are the ones going to Ukraine, so everyone in Europe kind of hates the Russians. It doesn't matter whether you are a soldier, just being a citizen of Russia. It's the same thing that is going to happen in Congo. If you are a Tutsi or somehow connected to Rwanda and you are in Congo, the victims or the survivors will mete revenge on you. And they start now crying all over the place, accusing the Congolese government of failing to stop hatred and things like that, when they are the ones starting it and fueling it.